So welcome, everyone. We're going to do some mindfulness meditation this morning. So what I teach comes from the Buddhist tradition, but these skills are, you can find them everywhere. and sometimes they're called different things, but I think mindfulness is secular mindfulness is a known thing. So that's what we'll go with. It translates a Buddhist word, sati, which has to do with, being present, but also it has to do with memory. So it's about, maybe we could talk about remembering yourself. We could talk about being recollected. So it's also got that, sense of purpose as well as the sort of bare presence thing. I could talk a lot about meditation, but I think we're going to work with the breath. We're going to work towards working with the breath this morning. And I'll try and keep it simple. It's not terribly complicated. So some things to know. We're not trying to stop thinking. We're not trying to get a very sharp focus. We're looking for a very open focus. Right. So when we do less, when there is less sensory input and we're doing less, it's easier to see the details. And if we go in the other direction, if we pay attention in a relaxed way to details, it tends to quieten everything else down. So it works both ways. This is what we find. So we'll do I'll talk us into some awareness in the body, work our way towards the breath. If your mind wanders, don't worry about it. It's normal. That's what the mind will do. Your mind is it's spent your whole life doing this. So it's not going to kind of like do one thing for 40 minutes. It's and that's fine, but in a way that's just what the mind is doing. Awareness is happening all the time, right? So we attend to the awareness part, not the thinking part. Thinking part can be there. Sounds will be there. Smell will be there. Taste will be there. There'll be some light passing through your eyes. There'll be sensations in the body, and we'll start with sensations in the body. And it's all just experience that's happening. And we're just seeking to have that experience directly and not necessarily make stories about that experience. Okay. So be comfortable. Usually I say be stable, comfortable, and upright, but if you want to lie down, feel free. I'm on an office chair, and I've tilted it so that my back is upright, and I'm not leaning into the chair. Right, so what I want is to be able to feel my pelvis on my seat. So you might like to bounce around a little bit, just so you can feel your sitting bones. Can you feel your sitting bones where you are? If you don't have a cushion or a chair to sit on and you're sitting on the floor, feel free to have your back against the wall. That's also fine. But if you can be freestanding comfortably without making a lot of effort to hold your back up, then so much the better. Because otherwise your back will get sore, and we don't want that. So you can close your eyes if you want, or you can have them open. It just does simplify the amount of perceptions we're dealing with. So we can simplify the perceptual field just by letting the eyelids fall shut. But if you're very sleepy, feel free to keep your eyes open. And just orient your shoulders so that they're over your hips, and that there's a straight line from the crown of your head through the middle of the body into over the pelvic floor. Right, so there's a long line. The spine is not straight. It's not designed to be straight. But it just has easy natural curves. But the head and the pelvic floor are on top of each other, not like this. So just take a minute to rest. Let go of anything that was happening before coming to the meditation. Just rest. And then notice, if you will, what is happening now in experience. What is here? What sensations are here? For instance, I had to cycle across the park to get here, so I can feel my body is still hot and a bit sweaty. And then let's scan through the body very gently, starting with the soles of the feet. Are the soles of the feet in contact with the floor, or are your feet on their sides? Or are you lying down, or some other arrangement? Doesn't matter, just notice what sensations. What do you notice at the soles of your feet? Experience it directly, a direct experience of the sensations. Is it possible to feel the toes touching each other? Is it possible to be sensitive to the texture of your socks? Maybe you're wearing shoes, maybe you have bare feet. What do you notice? What's it like on the top of the feet, the heels, the ankles? And maybe your mind is already thinking of other things. That's fine. Just relax and come back to the body, come back to the feet. If the mind is distracted, it's usually a little bit tense. So if we relax, it's usually enough to come back to presence. How are the lower legs? What can be noticed in the calves and the shins, the lower leg and the feet together? Sensations, feeling, contact with floor, contact with clothing, the temperature of the air, the temperature of the leg and the foot. How are the knees? How are your knees bent? Are they folded in some way? Notice how the knees are. Are they comfortable? Is there anything that can be done to make the legs more comfortable. Soft folds in the knees. Again, the texture of leggings, trousers, floor. And the upper leg, the thighs. Big muscles in the thighs, hamstrings, the long bone of the femur, the thigh bone. Relax and allow the sensations to come to your awareness. Allow the sensations to arrive in awareness. No need to chase after them. The sensations are always there. We're just attending with awareness. How is the pelvis? Is it possible to notice the sitting bones? The bottom of the pelvis, the tail, the sacrum, the whole bowl shape of the pelvis. All the weight of the body dropping down through the pelvis if we're sitting upright. If you're lying down, of course, the weight will be dropping through the back of the pelvis. And sitting upright, the weight will fall through the sitting bones into the seat. How is the belly? Does the belly move with the breath? How is the lower back, the lumbar spine? Large muscles either side of the spine. Soft organs in the belly. Is this lower part of the torso, how does it move with the breath? And how about the upper torso, the chest, the upper back, the ribs, the heart, the lungs, the diaphragm? Moving with the breath. Allow the weight of the torso to drop, supported by the spine, weight carried through the spine into the pelvis, support rising up from the pelvis through the spine, so that the rib cage can relax. The shoulders can relax. How are the shoulders? Notice if there's any tension that isn't needed. Whatever we become aware of in the body will tend to relax. What we are aware of in the body will relax without doing anything extra. How are the arms? How heavy are the arms? Let them rest somewhere where they won't make the shoulders pull backwards or forwards. Rest them on your lap or your table or your legs. But if the hands are too far forward, it'll pull your shoulders forward. So rest the hands somewhere comfortable for your spine. How are the hands? Hands are very sensitive. A lot of sensations, a lot of feeling. Notice how that is. How is the neck and the throat? Is there tension? Is it relaxed? Is it comfortable? Is it uncomfortable? If it's uncomfortable, make some adjustments. If it's comfortable, enjoy being comfortable. And how is the head balanced on top of the spine? Perhaps making some very small nods of the head, just moving the nose up and down 1 millimeter. Very small. Just enough to be a movement, no more. See if it's possible to be sensitive to which vertebra is doing this movement. It should be the top of the spine, the connection with the skull moving. And rest. Rest the head comfortably on the spine. How is the face? Does the face hold an expression right now? Is there anything happening with the eyebrows or the eyes that is no longer needed? How is the jaw? Make sure the jaw is comfortable. How is the tongue? Feeling the depth of the tongue going all the way down into the throat. Feel the eyeballs resting in their sockets. The eyes, how deep do the eyes rest in their sockets? Really let the eyes rest. Is it possible to know how heavy is the hair? How heavy is the hair on the scalp? I don't have so much hair, so it's very light. But maybe your hair is heavy. Imagine a line from the crown of the head, down to the middle of the pelvic floor. Just draw that line in your mind's eye a few times. Draw the line down from the crown of the head through the neck, the torso, down to the pelvic floor. And draw the line upwards from the pelvic floor through the body, a long straight line upwards to the crown of the head. In your imagination, does this line have a color? Is it light or dark? It can really help stabilize the posture just to have that sense of center line. And then, if you will, notice the sensations. So bring to the foreground of your attention, bring to the front of your awareness all of the sensations in the body that are caused by breathing. So breathing is happening, and the movement of the breath creates sensations, creates feeling. So our task is to know those sensations, those feelings. Know those sensations intimately in a very relaxed way. Make a lot of effort to be very relaxed. As you turn your attention, turn your awareness towards the breath. What sensations are caused by the breath? The movement of the belly, the chest, the feeling of the air coming in through the nostrils, down the windpipe into the lungs. So I'll say less now, but the task for now is to notice, where is the breath? Discard any answer that has a word. We don't need to answer the question with words. Answer the question by noticing. Where is the breath? Where is the breath? Ask the body, where is the breath? We're mindful of the breath. We clearly know the breath. Clearly knowing the breath. We're present with the breath. We're relaxed with the breath. As the mind wanders, relax, make an adjustment, turn your attention to the breath and the body. So as well as where is the breath, we can ask, how long is the breath? In a very relaxed way, just noticing the length of the breath in time. How much time does each breath take? And let the breath be as it is, easy and natural. There's no need to change the breath. We're not changing the breath, we're changing our awareness. Let the breath be just as it is. Very often, as soon as the breath is watched, it changes. So it maybe takes a few minutes for the breath to return to natural. Notice that happening. Notice where is the breath. Notice how long is the breath. What kind of texture does the breath have? What kind of feeling, what kind of texture does the breath have? Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is it easy? Is it subtle? Is it very noticeable? Is it possible to have a sense of the whole body breathing? Every single cell in the body breathes. All 38 trillion cells at once, all breathing, being breathed. The sense that the earth is breathing you. The body is being breathed. The whole body is being breathed. The whole body is a universe of sensation and feeling, a whole world of sensation and feeling. Being aware of the whole body calms the whole body. Remember, I said whatever you pay attention to in the body will tend to relax. If we pay attention to the whole body will relax, will calm down even more. How does the awareness change as the body relaxes? The more relaxed the body becomes, how does awareness change? So we are going to bring this meditation to a close gradually, slowly. Just get used to the idea that the meditation will end soon. Stop making any effort to meditate. Notice what happens when we stop making an effort. Rest. Rest and notice. How do you know that you've been meditating? Okay, and let's bring ourselves gently back into the Zoom room. Okay, coming back into Zoom land. I can see the meditations worked really well for you, Jada. Cool. How did you find that? What did you notice? What was easy? What was difficult? Did it make any sense? Are there questions? Could you understand what I was saying? Speak. How was it for you?
So, like I feel a bit dizzy.
Uh-huh.
Like I was sleeping and all of a sudden I woke up. And it was very relaxing, but it made me aware of my stiffness in my neck and back. That like I feel this urge to be cracked. And it's so annoying. But yeah, I loved it. Like I feel centered.
Great, good.
Sometimes it's hard to let go of thoughts, like to release.
Yeah, Yeah, I think the thoughts will just do what they do. You just leave them alone.
Yeah,
If you try and push them away, they fight back.
right.
Yeah, just they'll quieten down of their own accord.
Hmm.
If you want to get a really clear, if you really want them to clear out, you need to go on retreat or something, I think. Or
Thank
spend
you.
a whole day doing this,
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Anything else? I need somebody else. Ah, cool. Opened up my senses. I feel like an embryo exploring every minute. What a lovely image. Yeah, great, great. Good. Okay, so we were meditating for about half an hour. Maybe that's a long time for you. Maybe it passed really quickly. Um, the important thing is, if you want to get the benefits of meditation, is to do a little bit every day. Maybe just a couple of minutes, just to sit quietly and come into relationship with yourself. I think that's one of the definitions of meditation that I really like, is that meditation is a way of coming into relationship with experience directly. Yes, I don't. I hope that's not stretching your English vocabulary too much, Chinese people. Um, yeah, coming into relationship, coming into friendship with your experience, your direct experience, because that's where we can work. Anything else is just a story that the mind creates, and those stories are very helpful. They get us through the day, but if we're seeking to get the benefits of getting a stronger awareness, stronger attention, stronger concentration, actually, it's not like going to the gym. The more, like, if you go to the gym and you want to get strong, you add more weights. But if you want to get your mind strong, actually, you need to relax and just hold it there. Um, if so, yeah, so I have this beater for my gong. Uh, if I have to hold this up, if I hold it with two hands and very tight, my knuckles go white. I don't need to do that. I only need to do this. Right? I just need to use a very little effort. And it's the same when we're watching the breath. We just want a very, very little effort. And the thing is, if I stay here for half an hour holding this position, actually these fingers will get quite strong. But it'll be a different kind of strength. It won't be this kind of strength. It'll be a very delicate, also be, it won't just be strength, it will be delicacy and subtlety in the strength. At least that's my theory. I'm not going to test it. Let's do another short meditation, just 5 minutes. I'm just going to introduce you to the idea of counting the breath. Now, this is a very common practice in all sorts of spiritual traditions, and in the Buddhist tradition, there are many different ways of doing this. But the one that I've received is, we breathe in, we breathe out, we count 1. Breathe in. Normal, natural breath, just your ordinary breath. Breathing out. 2. Breathe in, breathe out. 3. So we'll do this. If you get as far as 10, go back to 1. Right? We're only going up to 10. But what will most likely happen is you will lose count. You'll forget. That's fine. Just go back to 1. Because, so what this does is, this is like I'm holding the beater up and then I forget. And I put my hand, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this. And then I'm thinking about something else. And then, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this. Yeah. So it's a little bit like that. And because that movement of the mind back to the thing that we're doing is what makes the mind strong. Okay, let's make yourself comfortable, stable, upright. Make sure your shoulders are over your hips, your crown of head over your pelvic floor, that your legs are comfortable, and play with the angle of your tailbone a little bit. Just move your tailbone a little bit forwards and backwards, and just see how that affects the neck. Particularly Jada, you might find something there that will help your neck position. Just subtle movements, probably a small adjustment is what's needed. Okay, close the eyes if you like. So finding awareness in the body should be easy now. We just finished a meditation where we were very aware of the whole body breathing. We can just come back to that. Just a very broad, relaxed awareness of the whole body breathing. All the sensations, the movements of the belly and the chest, the air coming through the nostrils and down into the lungs, the diaphragm drawing the air in. And then let's play with putting a count at the end of each out breath, at the end of the out breath. Try to make the counting very quiet, very short. Breathing in, breathing out in your own time. Almost like a whisper. If you get to 10, go back to 1. If you lose count, get distracted, simply relax and go back to 1. Don't worry if we never get past 3. Actually, that means that you're very aware. You're really noticing when the mind has wandered. There is something about counting the end of the out breath that is very settling and grounding. Like at the end of the out breath, everything arrives. And for a few minutes, let's try something else where we shift the count. We move the count to the beginning of the in-breath. It's exactly the same idea. We're just anticipating the breath now. The breath has ended. I'm waiting for the next breath. Here it comes, 1. breathing in, breathing out, waiting, 2, breathing in, and so on. So counting the beginning of the in-breath. And then let go of the counting. Simply be mindful of the breath. Clearly know the breath intimately. Just let it be as it is, coming and going. Breath is constantly moving, constantly changing. The whole body is always changing. And then rest. Let go of any efforts that you're making. Just sit and rest, making a transition, letting go. What happens to awareness when you let go? And gently coming back into Zoom room. Okay, tell me, how was that? So we've just done, that's like, that was about 6 or 7 minutes. So that's it's nice to have that on the recording, because I'll put this somewhere you can find it. And if you don't have much time, you can just scroll to the end of the recording and do that 7 minutes. Yeah. So tell me, how was that? How was that different? What did you notice? What's the difference between the in-breath and notice counting the out-breath and counting the in-breath? What did you notice? I mean, it's a trick because the count is actually in the same place, right? But what's different is how you pay attention. So how did that change things? How did that change your awareness? or any other questions you might have, clarifications, questions, anything else I can help you with this last few minutes.
For me, it's not exactly a question. It's like an observation that now it's coming back to me. It's this fact that I cannot. Sometimes I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Sometimes it pops in my head that if I'm being relaxed or if I'm being passive in the situation, and yes, always having an anchor, a reference point like the breath helps, because it puts you in one point and that you shouldn't think anymore of it. Yet, yeah, it's something that it comes and goes sometimes as a thought during the sensation, and it's yeah, for me it's like a constant fight. Let's say it's
Yeah. Well, the thing to, I mean, I don't know, but you might find it helpful in those moments to realize your agency in paying attention. Because that's a bit, to be present with someone is not to be passive.
yeah.
If you're present with someone, I'm not asserting myself into the situation. I'm not dominating the situation, but I can be very, very present with someone and attentive, and they'll know that I'm not passive. If I'm just listening, or if I'm speaking, if I'm present in that sort of way, the right moment to speak, it just comes.
Yeah.
The right moment to act. I think sometimes, I'll tell you a little story. I was sharing a house with a friend, and I was in the upstairs room. He was downstairs. He wasn't well. He was not very well. He'd been vomiting a lot over for a few days, actually, and and I could hear him coughing, and then I could hear him retching. He was going to vomit, and from the beginning of hearing him starting to vomit, I got downstairs, picked up a bucket, and got it to him before. But there was no thinking. Right, I was just sitting in my room. I was very relaxed, and there was no thought. I just did it, and if you've studied martial arts, that's an ideal state. That the thoughts don't get in the way. You just respond. Thinking is really helpful, but we need to understand what its role is in our lives. And when we're meditating, it's not a problem. It's just not what we're doing. What we're doing is something else. So the thoughts can sort of come and go. If you fight with them, you'll lose. So just don't add to them. And because, the worry about being passive is another thought. It's another story. It's just a story. And one story among many. And sometimes that particular story might be helpful, because it might be telling you, hey, you're too passive here. You need to do something. But in the middle of a meditation, maybe not so much. Yeah. But just to say, don't worry, you're not training yourself to be passive. In fact, you're training yourself to be attentive, which is not passive. Yeah. I like that idea of being with someone, really being aware of them, listening to them, particularly with a good friend. We do this all the time. We're attentive to our friend. We want to listen to them. We want to know what's going on with them. So it's natural to be very attentive. So, this kind of awareness and mindfulness, it's very ordinary. We do it all the time. What's extraordinary is to just sit and do it for 20 minutes as an exercise. Oh, I'm talking a lot again. That's the trouble with Zoom. It's harder to interrupt me. It's 9 o'clock, so and I've got a couple of things I need to do before teaching today. Is there anything else that you want to share or ask before we close the call? And I'm not answering any questions about Moodle. Let's stop the recording.